Hi, how you guys doing this morning? Hey, my name's Shane Davenport. This is Nick Heights. We do this every year to kind of just go over some things, kind of talk about the expectations, what you guys can kind of expect of us, what we'll expect of you. Go over some things that you'll probably roll your eyes about, but you know, it is what it is. We want to make sure we at least say it once. Plus, we use it to kind of get the guys their stuff, and let the coaches that are here. We have several coaches in this group that are in the playoffs still. 2 of them are out of town in the playoffs, so it is what it is. We'll get to where when they come home to practice. We will start practices next week outdoors. We don't like for these guys to sit around for 3 or 4 weeks for the first tournament and expect them to really be ready. So we'll kind of start practicing. We typically try to practice 2 teams at a time, so we got 4 coaches together that can run that practice and really get some work out of these guys, and mainly on the field. Usually it's pretty organized that way, and with the field usage, it helps us kind of be able to do that. We typically use a place called PDC in Bedford. We'll use LBL High School, Trinity High School, sometimes Collegeville, depending on the field usage. We may be hitting up here. This group, being 15, 16 and 17 and 18-year-old guys, we typically will practice during the summer, like around 9 or 10 in the morning before it gets real hot, where they can drive. So it's easy. This group, obviously, some people may drive, but not every parent stays home. So we will try to figure out the practices, because the evening time for these high schools do their summer program, so we don't have the fields at night. So they may hit up here, throw bullpens up here some days. With tournaments being Thursday through Sunday, there's only a couple of days a week that they can practice. So it'll be like a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday usually that they can come up here and find a field that we can get to where they can practice. Once the tournament starts. So I'm going to let Nick talk, because I like to talk, and I need this to be quick, and if I do it, it's not going to be. You will hear from me at times if you haven't seen an email from me. I'm really anal. I like for things to be put out when things happen, or when I can't get them out. You may get tired of me sometimes. I just, we have a lot of teams, and I got to keep track of all this. I take care of the website, the new virtual combine deal that we do, that we're going to talk about, the travel, things like that. So and I coach on our team, so it's important for me to try to stay on it when I can. I stay up till 12 or 1 every night and do these things, so I'm usually up. If you send an email, I'm usually pretty good about responding. If you email me or text me, I try to do that pretty quick. If I don't, something's wrong. So in my opinion, virtual combine. Let me go through that real quick. It's a new deal that we decided to do this year. We took care of that. We paid for that this year just so we could see how it worked for each kid. It is basically a profile that is in their deal. Like if you click on your son's name within the website, you will see a little box underneath the Stix logo with their name that says virtual combine. If you click on that, it opens up the program. I've gone through every player and done that. If you see that for some reason when you click on your son's name that another kid's name pops up, I need to know. 450 kids that I did last week, there's a chance that I messed up for sure. With that, it helped us because 2 things. College coaches, it's become more and more online, and somewhat last year put us in that line with coaching. So they need something that I can literally just send a profile to a coach. It's going to have this height weight because you guys are doing that, and that's on you guys. You guys have control of that. That's the other thing that helped me, because I would literally every night have to go in and change somebody's weight. Oh, my son's now 210 instead of 208. So I go in and do it. So this puts it on you for me. So that was a bonus for me. Bonus for you is it puts something out there that we can give college coaches when it's time and when they're ready. You can put video on it. It doesn't slow our website down. You can do them every day if you need to, or every week. You can put things that you change things, awards that you may have gotten all district, all whatever. You can do whatever you need on that. We do State Scout Day or a testing day. We try to do it twice a year. Last year, I think we did it once because of COVID. 2 years ago and 3 years ago we did it, we'd have 15 to 30 college coaches that would stand on the field and watch these guys go through their pro workout. They would run 60s, throw from their position for velo, do an exit velo off the bat, and then catch your pop times and things like that, and we'd run them out. We did it at EBU and TCU the last 2 times we've done it, and UTA once. The thing that was real big for me on this is we would do those deals and we'd have 350 kids come through on one night, from 5 to 10. And I would keep everything on an iPad. Always 60 is a 7.2. I put it in. Then I would spend the next 7 to 10 days with Hunter Lockwood opening up your son's profile, typing in every one of his measurements, save, go to the next video, type all his in, and I have to redo it. This, when I hit 7.2 and hit OK, it puts it on his deal immediately. So you literally can sit in the stands and watch things change over time, in real time. If we're at TCU and they let us use the video board, we'll put the leaderboard up there, and as the 60s go, you'll see it change immediately. Oh, Johnny's at 6'8", he's at number 1. Or my son is 6'7", he just beat Johnny, he's up. It'll just rotate the whole time you're sitting up in the stands. For me, that was big because I don't have to spend a week putting all that in. It goes in immediately. So there's a couple things I think. So that's important for you guys, and if you use it, great. If you don't, that's on you. So it may be one of those things that at the end of the day, he's a junior, and you're like, man, my son's not even recruited. I'm like, well, you also don't do your profile. That doesn't help. So it's something. So if you have not got an email from Virtual Combine, it's something you may have just deleted. I do go and resend those every 2 or 3 days just for people that haven't done it. I will do it again. So maybe now that you've heard this, if you see something come through, go ahead and just try to open that up, fill that up, and I'll see anything. I paid for it this year. Okay, so just, once again, I'll stop. All right, so let's go.
All right, so I've got a bunch of notes to try to keep you aware. We're going over 3 things. We'll talk a little bit about the program. We'll talk about what you guys can expect from us and what we're going to expect from you guys in return. So a little about the program. We're on about year 15 right now. We had a pretty rough 3 or 4 5 years. We're very, very mediocre. Continue to get better and better. To get to the point now where we feel like we can be picky about who's in our program. We can have to try it out and take 20 or 30% of the kids know what we need, and the rest, and not take the rest. We want to set a certain standard. So I get our youth levels. By the time they're 10, 11 years old, they're expected to play at the AAA level or better. We started that 2 or 3 years ago, and ever since then, things have gotten just a little bit even more. It's taken that next step. Being able to start at a younger age with a certain quality of player, a certain level of player, it goes a long ways with the time kids in high school. So here recently, we put some labels on the team to help parents understand. Try out this. We tell you this is where we see you starting with us. You know what you're getting into. So a futures team would be equivalent to like a good AAA team at a youth level, which in high school there is no level. Everybody's playing against each other. A prospects team would be a good major team, and then a scout team would be equivalent to the best team in the area that possibly put together. So with our teams here and our north team and our south team, that's bringing all the best guys together at that point when we start those. So when you look at where your kid is now, it should give you an idea of what we thought on the evaluation side where you should start. And if you're new to the program, you didn't even play fall ball, all we were able to go off of is a tryout. So in a tryout situation, whether you made a big one outside and got to see him run, move around the field, take ground balls, etc., that's all we know. We don't know a lot of the other things about him that play in as far as how he performs in the game, how he does the pressure, does he play hard, etc. So take where he's at now, okay, and understand that we're going to continue to change these rosters based on how these players do and how we evaluate. If you think you're not happy with where he's starting now, he has the opportunity to prove that he's not in the right place, and we'll recognize that. The idea is by the time they're 16, 17 years old, they're going to be playing around kids that are playing at the same level, very similar type players. And the process works pretty good. So our 17 U teams, very rarely does a 17-year-old parent the main thing you guys need to understand is the most important thing for every kid, I don't care if he's on the best team or the worst team or in between, he needs to keep getting better. And for us, if he doesn't keep getting better, it's gonna be harder for us when he gets to be that junior, whatever year it is the maturity process to start. That starts for each kid to start at a different level. But if he doesn't keep getting better, that's gonna make it harder for us to help play some development. So making sure that is the main goal is the most important thing. That's gonna be our main goal, and we need that to be y'all's main goal. Is your son getting better and learning the game? Okay, so
And some of that has to do with timing too, right? So and I've had a couple of people that we've gotten in April or May. We do our trials in November every year. So if some of you guys, if you're new, that I kind of worked out in here over the last 6-8 weeks or 2 months, it might just be hey, this is all I got at this time. Would you like to get the program that kind of shows what your kid does, and we'll work from there. So sometimes it's a timing thing, sometimes it's a positional. We've already got 5 outfielders on this team, so kind of thing. So just know that it's more than just we don't think your son can be this or that. This may be one of those things too.
And as we go into season, reforming for next season, there's a number of things we're going to be doing. First of all, we're going to see a lot of kids. We got our other coaches to see kids. We're going to talk to our coaches that are coaching your kids. We're going to have stats stats aren't everything, but they're going to tell us something. And they're going to tell us what kind of results we're getting out of them. And then it comes to tools, which are important. If you're slow, if you don't throw hard, you don't hit well, and you're going to have a hard time at a higher level. So with that being said, understand that the children are really important as they get older, especially when it comes to starting up varsity, and also really important to work like college. So, all right, this next thing, y'all have any questions about this program stuff? No. Okay. Expectations for us. There's quite a few things here. But these are the things that we as a program expect of ourselves to take care of for y'all and what we expect our coaches to be doing great. Communication is huge. You probably noticed that here recently you started getting more communication than you did in February, March, in April. That's just not much going. But as of now, we've got an app that we will send. We'll love to send some. We're going to send you the app on how to get it. There's an Android and an iPhone, 2 different ways, 2 different apps, I guess. So we'll send you how to get it. Coaches will have it. We'll use it for communication. They can send out little messages or whatever. It works really well.
You guys will get that as an email.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have that, you'll still get the email based on what your emails that you put in your league apps, when you put in the financial stuff. Whatever email's in there, that's where it'll go when he sends it to the app.
So, okay, with that being said, you guys have control over who's going to get this communication. So inside your league apps where you register, if the mom's getting emails with the dad's mom and he needs emails, just go in the league app and you can add them. Okay? That's huge for us because we start getting calls like, well, I'm not getting emails, I'm not, and then we'll pull it up and yeah, because you register with this email. And for us to have to go update all the calls, that's a big job in itself. So take care of your side of the communication to make sure everybody, we don't care if your grandma has it, everybody can have it. Y'all decide with your family who needs to receive it. Which is why we use the app. That allows y'all to dictate where it goes.
And hey, everybody on the team can read everything we post.
Oh, yeah.
So if the coach sends something out, you go, hey, if Johnny plays shortstop again, we're not showing back up. Johnny's parents just read it. Just go.
Another big part of the communication is just simply the website. Going there, you'll see tournaments. If we make a change in the tournament, we'll notify you and then we'll change it on the website. If you're traveling, there'll be travel on there. Everything you probably, when it comes to what's coming up, is going to be on the website and updated as soon as we make a change. If there is one. As of right now, you've probably got all your tournaments on there. There are making changes.
Yeah, I'm going to change for one of the teams here, I think.
You were going up to OU Open Memorial Day, that's being changed because OU's not open. So they're not open until after the dead period, which is being on June 7th. So there could be some slight changes in tournaments. The other thing we'll do is we'll make sure that the tournaments we're entering that we decided in February are still looking up to par. So, if there's a travel as much as possible. Coaches will typically put a group text together with the players, and a lot of their communication may go through players, and we like that. We're also trying to help kids start growing up, take responsibility, things like that. So, the important thing will all obviously go to parents every time. Little things like jerseys and stuff like that may just go to the parents or up to the kids. So the players may have to be responsible for what jersey we're wearing, etc. So just keep that in mind. If you don't get communication on something like that, we're okay with that as long as it's something small, okay? And something that we think the kids can take care of on their own. This is a big one. So when it comes to rain, like we're going to deal with this. I promise you this summer, if not you done. We will let you know when something changes on rain. So game's rained out, game's delayed, whatever. Promise you, as soon as we know, we'll put it out on the app, the email, everything we can do to let you know, we'll let you know. Because what happens is we start getting on board. For some reason, parents go straight over the coach to us, and I've got 30 text messages he does at 6 in the morning going, are we playing? Blah, blah, blah. We didn't send it out, we don't know. If it rains on a Friday night, I promise you, me and him are up the line before it, trying to make sure we know what's going on before you guys need to start. So if you play at 9 a.m., it rains overnight at your house, you know, 30 miles away, like you may not have right there. Sometimes you're just going to have to wait until the last second to leave the house. Sometimes you're going to be on the way before we hear. You may show up for the field. You know, it just kind of depends on the field that we're going to, things like that. So much of it's turf now, we're going to be in good shape a lot of time. But anywhere it's not turf, there's those coaches, everybody involved in tournaments is going to try to get the game. So, you know, we run a lot of tournaments now. I'm the perfect game director for North Texas. So Shane, with that, Shane has taken over a lot of the club stuff to help me take it off. I'd like to allow me to do that, but so I'm involved in some of the tournaments y'all. And I promise you, the number one goal is to play the game. Okay, so at the same time, you know, you end up having to drive to a game early in the morning. You're gonna make a decision yet. We get pushed, or we get rained out, or whatever. You know, maybe go have practice with the family or something like that. We're not trying to send anybody to a field that can't play. Okay, any questions on any of that? Okay, playing time. This is how we look at playing time. It is not equal. We will be fair, but it is not equal. Equal playing time would be every kid plays the exact same number of innings, same. That's not how this works. The kids are going to earn their way based on how they play. Now, we are going to have X amount of playing time set aside for players to make sure that they get what they need to out of the summer. Okay? And that playing time can either go up from there or down from there based on a number of different things. How well do they play? Are they playing hard? Do they show up on time? Are they good teammates? Etc. You know, if the kid's late, dogs, he doesn't run on the ball, expect the playing time to go back. Okay? If he can't, not coachable, expect him to go back. But starting off, every player should have the opportunity to play at least half the time if they do what they're supposed to do. If your son is one of the top 2, 3, 4 players on the team, you can expect them to play quite a bit. In fact, we'll tell the coaches, like, if you don't want to take a guy out of the lineup, you can't, don't do it. Because that kid hurt. So understand that there's playing time for everybody, but how much they get is going to be on them. And as you get older, gets to 17 and under, it gets even tougher. We make sure, you know, on a freshman team, 14 or 15 position players with rotation, stuff like that. On top of 17, we're looking at 12, maybe 13 position players plus POs. You know, so if you only have 12 guys sharing the time, you know, we've already weeded out the guys, you know, that we were having to force playing time. And we started to figure out what positions these guys should be playing. The more of a pitcher than a hitter, we started pushing them in that direction. So that's kind of how the playing time works. We watch out for their arms. So kid pitching on Thursday, throw 75, 80 pitches. Friday, good chance he's going to DH. If he's hitting well, just sit. Rest. Because it's not best to go throw that kid back to shortstop or behind the plate or whatever it is. So we're going to watch, how much does a kid throw, and we're going to throw, and we're going to do their playing time around that as well. So that's something that we expect of our coaches, and we go through with them on how to do it. The other thing is, that unless your son's one of the best hitters on the team, times he's pitching, probably not going to hit. You're asking him to pitch that. And take that pressure of, strikes out in the 6th inning, he's pitching well, he takes that to the mound, and now he can't throw strikes. So we're going to take that away. There's very few kids that are good enough to pitch that can do both. Do both well throughout the game. Hitting's so difficult. It's easy to have a bad bat somewhere in there that you can run out. Positions. We will be asking the players what position you play, etc. Hopefully their answer is whatever position they play best. As we go through the next few years, what their position is, what you guys see as their position, may not be what they're built to do later on, based on their tools, based on their size, body type, etc. So we're going to be trying to place them in a position that gets them to college. High school, they have them playing shortstop because he's the best athlete we got to play that position. We may be like, well, yes, but it's a little bit rough, it's not super smooth, he's really super fielding, okay? But what we decide is not necessarily going to be what the high school decides. So there's going to be a little of we're going to try to even it out a little bit as far as what he needs to play in high school, but also he needs to go play in college. Sometimes it's the same thing, doesn't matter, sometimes it is different. And I feel like in high school ball, there's a lot of times that the coach doesn't have a guy from that position, and they move and get to that spot to get to that one. So a lot of these high school coaches go, well, who are my best high hitters? Oh, three of them play short. Well, okay, this guy's the best defensive guy there. So the next couple of seconds, I'm moving to the outfield. And now all of a sudden, everybody's playing out of position because they think they're shortstop, but yet they're on the field, they're in line. So for us, we're going to try to play the kids at positions that we think that they're having the most success at. And also, if we know that next year, they have a spot on varsity, apply to play this position, also try to get them a little bit of time there if it's different, if they're not the same. So we are paying attention to that. We are talking to high school coaches. We've had to do this a few times where parents like, hey, he needs to be playing shortstop. We talked to the high school coaches like, and he's going to catch us next year. Okay, those aren't the same thing. So I don't care what high school you go to, we probably have a relationship with them. We think with most of them. And we will be talking to a lot of these coaches about your kid, about the other players, and kind of what they've seen, kind of what they expect of them for coming year. We're going to try to do our best to help high school coaches get what they need to out of our program. Those relationships are going a long way. Right now, we need a catcher on one of our freshman teams. We've got 6 high school coaches trying to find us a guy right now. So there's a good relationship there between us that really helps a lot. If your son does really well, we're definitely watching that. If your son doesn't do what he's supposed to do, we're probably going to know that as well. So
if you're on that team, by the way, I know I talked to one of the ball officers. If her son is the only catcher on the team at this point, it is unbelievably hard when we have guys that get hurt and have to have surgery at the end of April. Because we've had these teams. So just bear with me. We are trying to find that. We've had several injuries in the last 6 weeks, like 9 to 12 month injuries where we're having to fill some things and trying to figure out some things. So the last thing we're going to do is have kids get work to the bone. We'll figure it out.
So we've got, we're reaching out. We're going to get one. Facility. Okay, so TPA, this is something that we need to go just because it's not, everybody doesn't quite understand. So the Stix don't own this facility, but we do have an agreement with them to work at it. So what that means is the facility is not just free range for the kids, but anything you do here, there is a membership, a discounted membership for the Stix kids. So that's something we have to do to get into a facility like this and not just do a Stix only type thing. But understand that if you call the front desk or you're talking, they don't know what's going on with the Stix program. All of that needs to go through one of us, Hunter, somebody like that. The front desk is not going to help you with any of that stuff. Now, part of this agreement was the uniform run through etiquette, so they take care of that for us, etc. So if it's a uniform question, that can be brought here and talked to. The girls at the front desk may not have your answer, but they can get with Decker, who runs this place, and he can handle that stuff. Okay, so if you call and say, hey, what's going on in practice, they have no idea. Okay, so the communication for Stix stuff needs to stay out of here and more through us, your coach, etc. Okay, pregame. You're going to talk about pregame.
All right, so a couple years ago, we decided to change how we do pregame. So pregame means, for my 17-year-old team, we get there an hour and a half early. Most people don't do that. I just make sure that we're ready. Most guys will go an hour before, and if there's cages at the fields, they will hit, and we will tell our coaches they're required to hit before a game to get the players ready to play a baseball game. I'll show up, let the guys sit in the stands in the shorts and flip-flops, and all of a sudden the game ends, and the umpire goes, hey, we're going to change, we'll be back in 15 minutes, and they've got to get their pants on, their spikes on, or whatever, get on the field, play catch, and they're not ready to play. So they're going to be required to get ready to play. So they show up to the field in their uniform. Not flip-flops, not shorts. Now, we did provide shorts this year, so that's a little different, but I'd like them to be ready to go. Tennis shoes or turtle shoes.
You want them to wear shorts for PPE? We'll let you know.
So, shorts, we'll see. Tennis shoes, turtle shoes, something to hit in before game. As they get older, college coaches get there early. They do watch these guys hit. They watch them play catch before game. They watch. You don't want to see a guy over in the cage hitting in flip-flops and shorts, and that doesn't make me feel like he's really here to play. Then they'll get on the field. The only time we won't hit before a game is typically a back-to-back doubleheader where you only got 15 minutes. They may not be able to run over there and hit. You got a game break and you go grab something to eat or something to drink and you come back. I may tell the team, hey, be back at this time so we can hit before. So if they don't have cages, I guess it is what it is. They'll still stretch and be ready. So that'll be on the coaches too. We want them ready to play. Worst thing to do is to be watching the team doing those things while you're sitting there, man, our team's still in the stands in their shorts, and they go out and get kicked in the butt during that game, and you're like, well, we're ready to play. I'd rather get ready to play. If we get beat, it is what it is. That helps the kids understand. What else on that?
That's pretty much it. I mean, the big thing is you're going to see this in the summer, and our guys used to do this. Yeah, we sit in the stand before the game in shorts and watching the game before, and that game ends, they walk out there, throw their pants on, and they play catch for 5 minutes, and they're expected to play. And for us, it's like, that's not getting ready to play a baseball game whatsoever. I mean, you watch high school baseball and you see what they do, like, that's not giving them the best opportunity to win a game. So, 3 or 4 years ago, we made that change, and at least now, with putting it in place, we're stepping out there and we're giving those kids a chance. And if the team is better than us that day, it is what it is. At least there was a chance, and we did what we could to go compete. And I think it's teaching them that you don't just roll up and just beat somebody, because you can do that. You can roll up, be a better team, and win the game. That's not really preparing. That's not teaching them what it takes to go be successful. Playing time issues. All right, so if there is issues with playing time.
Well, I mean, just make sure you let the player. We're trying to teach the kids some things. The players go to the coach and ask if he feels like he's not getting the playing time that he thinks he should, what that reason could be. Our coaches are really good. It's not like when I was in college, high school, and minor league, where the coach says, hey, we've got an open door policy. It isn't open. I'm trying to have it. It isn't as open as they make you feel. You walk in and ask something, they make you feel like you should have never said it. So they're really good about talking to them about what they feel they see and what they feel like they need to do to get that playing time. I'd like for that to go first. So if I get a call and you go, hey, Johnny's not playing, I'm going to say, really? Have you talked to the coach? If you say no, I'm going to say, well, I haven't talked to the coach. If that doesn't work, then I'll step in if I need to. I do have game changer on every team. So when I'm on the road, when I'm out of town, and somebody calls me with that, and I'm looking out, promise you I'm talking to you knowing what he's doing. So when you say he's the best hitter on the team and he hadn't made one error, and I look on there and he's the 10th hitter on the team as far as average, and he's had almost the same amount of at-bats, made 8 errors in the last 3 games, I won't have much patience. I'm not real good with this. I'm still working on my attitude. I'm extremely upfront and honest, but I don't know, I'm not real good with my delivery. So some of you guys are may be in it. If I do something, some of you just go, look, that ain't okay. You know? It may hit me and I'll be able to apologize. But I'll be the first to apologize. But I don't want to have to do it because then you already feel like I am a jerk. I'm trying to get better. I don't want you guys to feel that way. Let me try to work through that. This is my 23rd year. This is all I've ever done since I got released in 1997. I take this very seriously. I'm extremely passionate about these kids, and it showed in the 20 years I did lessons. I stopped doing lessons because I have to do more here, which is okay. But I really am all in on this. So I want you guys to have that freedom of being able to call it coaches. Let me try to figure out how to do that. But let the kids go to the coaches first. I'd like them to start trying to learn how to talk to an adult or to them. It's not easy. Some of the kids won't do it, no matter how bad it could be. I get it. It's not easy, but I'd like them to try. And we can kind of sit down and work through that together if we need to. So I will take on that if we need to.
And let me add that. So a lot of the time too, and I said a lot of times, this has happened plenty of times too. I said a lot of times. The kid knows why he's not playing, or knows why he's not playing a certain position, knows why he's not pitching as much. The kid typically has a better understanding of why that's happening than the parent, and they don't go tell the parent. Okay? I mean, we've had times where the parent calls complaining about this and that, son didn't play, blah, 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 and talking to the coach is like, well, yeah, he was on his phone most of the game.
Or he said my arm's hurting.
Yeah.
The parent didn't even know it was hurting. So he's going to take care of that a little bit. It'll be safe with that kid. But he doesn't tell the kid doesn't tell the parent. I told him my arm was hurting.
But there's times that the kid didn't do what he was supposed to, knew he wasn't going to be playing. Because of that, they don't want to tell their parents that. You know, so stuff like that, you're going to find out because you're going to get the truth.
We know your kids like to talk to y'all, so this really doesn't happen much.
So the first step should be y'all talk to the kids and see if they'll tell you anything. And then if your kid truly doesn't think he's getting treated fairly, then he goes and has that conversation with the coach. It'll probably be a pretty easy conversation. Especially if the kid thinks he can do something that maybe the coach doesn't realize he can do. All right, so okay, expectations on development. And this is a big kicker because there's every program everywhere likes to use the word development, say, hey, we're all about development, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, we want to develop players, but understanding what we are able to do and what we're not able to do is a big part of that. So we can help players improve how they play the game. We can help them understand the game, teach them the game. We cannot take a player, transform his swing with someone. We cannot take a pitcher and fix his mechanics. Those types. We can't. That's not stuff that we have time to do. We're gonna have 2 coaches. There's me, 13 to 16 guys on a team. It's just there's not enough time in the day to make these changes that take rep after rep, week after week after whatever. So if your kid is struggling as a player and all of a sudden he starts looking better this summer, it's going to be more of us talking to him about his timing, his approach, understanding what's coming, things like that. That's what we can do to help a hitter. We cannot help a hitter with a flaw in the swing. So if you think that is an issue, then that's where you need to find some outside help. Pitchers, we can help them by just talking to them about attacking the zone, normal fastball, whatever it is the issue may be, to help them, be more successful. So we can do those things, but don't expect you're coming to Stix, now my son's going to hit better. He might, but it's not going to be because we fixed something in the swing with the problem. It's going to be because we talked to him about what he's doing at the plate. Okay? And this has always been a big misunderstanding. Well, we are going to try to teach them the main thing, and the thing that we harp on the coaches is play the game right, play the game fast, play hard. Because summer ball is the opposite. Summer ball is every kid's showing up, everybody's going through the motions, playing pool, whatever. But if the kids can play hard and learn how to play hard every day, all day, they're going to, I promise you, their opportunities are going to go through the ceiling. Because it's not being seen a lot in summer baseball, and a high school coach is not going to play a kid who doesn't play. So those are the things that we look at as our goals for player development. Okay, that kind of wraps up kind of things you can expect from us as a program and our coaches. Do you guys have any questions on any of that? All right, so let's go to expectations we have for you guys. And some of this stuff you're going to go, okay, we know. Okay, but we're saying is all of these things that happen. First one, don't coach with hands. We got it. So like, we're paying coaches to do this for you. Okay, so if you see little Johnny doing something you don't like, let the coach handle it. Okay, if you need to talk to him about something, wait till after the game. You can go do that in the car. They're your kids. But while they're on the field, let us handle them. Umpires, they're terrible. I mean, the best ones are decent. Okay, but they're going to miss calls. It's summer baseball. And I promise you, we will take care of umpires issues. If you guys are riding their butts in the stand, that makes it harder on everybody in the dugout. So if y'all are all over the umpire, all of a sudden, he's going to be thinking, late in the game, maybe we're in a tie game, he makes a call against us, but we rode that guy all game. Like, it'd be nice to get that call. It'd be nice to give our kids a chance to win. And the parents can take that away from them. The other thing is these kids have to learn how to flush it, move on, pitch to pitch. They have a bad strike ball on a 2-0 kid. If parents are all over, kids all mad, well, holy crap, it's a 2-1 count now. It's actually not even a big deal. You're still sitting in a good spot. You can erase that from your mind, move on to the next pitch. And that goes a long ways for a player and how well he does. So we need to be able to teach them that, and we can't do that if parents are all over umpires. We had some guys come in here with S2 baseball, which they're like guys like a neuroscientist. He's way smarter than anything we know. But the guy, he goes, his exact words were, the kids can hear tones in the background that they don't even know they can hear. And what he means by that was they can hear the voice of their parents or people they're around a lot while they're on the field, not even realize it, and it will distract them. So, like, you're out there yelling stuff, even if you don't think he can hear you, like, they pick up on that, and it can distract them from the game. He said the best thing a parent can do for their own child, give them the best chance to actually succeed, is to keep your mouth shut until something good happens, and then you can be as loud as you want. Or let them do what they're doing. Has anybody ever noticed the kid that, like, the parents didn't come to the game, and the kid's a home run, and has like this unbelievable game? There's like something to that. So just keep that in mind when you're out there. And our coaches are told the same thing. Like, we're not teaching while they're in the box. Okay, so we can talk through things, but when they get in the box to hit or whatever, we don't let them do their thing. So don't worry about tournament issues. If there's something going on with the tournament that you don't think is right, we're going to handle it if we think it's something worth handling. So don't contact tournament directors. This has happened plenty of times. I promise you.
I just want to repeat that.
Yeah.
Don't contact tournament director. Email, text, phone call, phone chat, snap grab, I don't care what it is. Don't do it. I'm 50, so
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, don't do it. I've already had to deal with this with our 12-year-old. I don't get it. We'll take care of it.
And a lot of times parents are just trying to help, like, oh, well, we should be the 6th seed, but they put us the 8th seed. On our side, we don't care about that. We're just going to compete. So, if you're in a bracket of some sort, your seeding's off a little bit. It happens all the time in the high school level because they do a number of things to keep teams from playing each other. So, like, two Stix teams align, or their seeding ends up where they play each other, they'll flip it so the two teams in the same program don't play each other. It's appreciated actually, or the seeding works out where you're playing somebody at your pool you already played. Well, they're going to flip it so you don't play the same team again. There's lots of things that they change in a bracket to just make it a little bit better experience for the clubs and the teams. That parents tend to look at it like, 1 through 8, this is what it should be, etc. Because in youth baseball, that's how they do it. They don't care in youth baseball. A lot of the times they're going to go, oh, these two teams played on Saturday, but they're still going to play first game Sunday. Like for us, like at the high school level, it's better to just play different teams. So,
What you got to do there to win every game if you want to play anyway. So.
Yeah, the point of a bracket is to win it, right? Like, you got to beat all the teams in the bracket. So it doesn't really matter who you play first or you play last. Communicate with coaches. So if you're going to miss, you're going to be late, you make sure you let them know. And your son should have their cell phone number. Your son can do it. But if you're running, you've got a house late, you're hauling buttons to the field, you're going to be there, in time or late. Well, send it. Just have your son shoot him a text. Just let him know. That way, if he's got lineups and he's starting to write them out, or maybe he already did, he knows that at least he'll be there in time to play and keep you in lineup. Or maybe you're getting there so close to game time, he's going to have to use you as a sub now. Maybe that playing time you can move it somewhere else later in the weekend. But at least he has the option to do that, because if you don't tell him, he may just scratch you off the lineup card, and that may be it. He just lost his game of playing time or whatever. So just communicate. Anything that you would expect us to communicate to y'all, communicate to your coaches in reverse, okay? Hotels, I'll let you know. If you're traveling, the hotels, it's very important to stay as a team for a couple of reasons. But one, a lot of tournaments are making stay, play, etc. And now that I'm running tournaments, I'm seeing more of why this is happening. It's always been, in my mind, I was always like, well, they can make a lot of money on it. There's money to be made there for sure, but on top of that, a big tournament, a lot of times they need to bring in staff, put them in hotels, and give them some opportunities to bring umpires. And by the way, there's an umpire called Smart Shortage. But they can bring umpires in from Wichita Falls, West Texas, or wherever. And if all the teams stay in the hotels, that's going to allow them to get some free nights and things like that to put these guys in and help make a tournament go better without them having to jack up tournament prices in. So it's very important that we do what we're asked. There's tournaments that are cutthroat that will tell you you're not playing. So just understand there's good reason for it. The other thing that we like is when you do that, the kids are all in the same place and can wake up and breakfast. They can all be around each other and actually get a little bit out of past baseball and create a little more chemistry. So, okay. So if you have a trip planned, I'm sure you've heard from Shane a number of times. The easiest thing for y'all to do is get booked as soon as possible, so that 6 weeks after he sends it to you, he's not sitting there going, "Why do we only have 6 people?" Okay, make it way easier on him because he watches this stuff almost on a daily basis. So just trying to take care of it on your end to make things easier on our end.
And there's no way,
Yeah.
There's no way I can make everybody happy. I've tried for 10 years in here. And I lose sleep a lot during this time of year because I really try hard. I know all you guys, a lot of people have different points with this one, and I get it. But when I have to do a 397-team tournament, or we're playing in a perfect game in Georgia and they have 397 teams, they give me 150 hotels to choose from. They only let me pick 4. So I'm trying to do reviews and trying to do all that to pick 4. And then they call me and say, "Oh, no, neither 4 of those have an approach to the team." I got to go back and do it. Or they spend 2 hours on the phone with me. "Well, what do you think about this one?" I got to type it in and look at it. "I don't like that." "What about this one?" I'm like, it's not easy. So I don't even know where I was going with that. I can't make everybody happy, so just try to book if you can. There's a certain percentage that we have to give in most of these things, and we just have to do it because I know for the game, it's $600 or $1,000 that if y'all showed up in Atlanta and you walk up to the or to the coach's meeting or the coach's deal at home plate with the umpire, and he goes, there'll be a per game guy that walks out there and you're not playing. I can't imagine what it would be like to have the parents on that team that bought flights and drove to Atlanta. Oh, you're not playing unless you write me a check for that price. We have to stay in certain amounts, and I try to do a decent job. And you will show up and want to go. We wouldn't stay there if they paid us to stay there. I've done better the last 2 years. Before, I would pick one. That was costly.
And we had mistakes like that where the hotel wasn't nearly what we were told it was. And we've actually moved hotels when we got there because of it. So we're not going to sit here and go, you have to stay where we stay, and it's complete dump, and then say you got to stay there anyways. You know, we're okay with making the adjustment if it is that way. But he's doing so much legwork that we shouldn't have. We shouldn't be at that issue. And we're not getting the cheapest hotel offer. We're going to be somewhere in the middle or higher just to make sure that it's actually a pretty good hotel. So I think every parent would pay an extra $20 a night to be in something pretty good, but save the $20 a night to be in a crappy place and spend it. So that kind of wraps up expectations from that we have to go. I guess it was my name.
We work for Zero Limits Performance, which is the gym that you guys are all in right now. Really cool deal that we have where we partner with these guys in the same building as these guys. So we have a lot of Stix athletes, athletes from high schools, middle schools, colleges from all over the Metroplex. So what we do, it's really comprehensive. Okay? Any athlete that's in this gym is going to get a lot of everything, whether that's whatever it is that they need. Strength, mobility, speed, agility, arm care, mechanical work, hitting, pitching, whatever it is. We're kind of like a one-stop shop. We provide it all. And our biggest thing is to take the player from where he is now and help bridge the gap to where he wants to be. Okay, whether that's a freshman who's on the JV team and he wants to play on varsity next year, that we're trying to bridge that gap, or an uncommitted junior in high school who's trying to get to the college level, we're trying to do everything we can to bridge that gap to get him there. And one college guy trying to get to pro ball, whatever the case is. We work with over 120 athletes from like 11 years old all the way up to guys that are in the MLB that just watch on TV every night. Okay? We work with primarily baseball players, but we also have Olympic figure skaters that are in the gym every day. Football players, soccer players, tennis players, you name it, we train athletes in different sports. But baseball is definitely our specialty, and that's our unique partnership with the Stix, with TPA, and these guys. So a little bit of quick background about myself. I played 4 years of college. I was a pitcher, played a few years of pro ball, and then I got into college coaching when I was done playing. I coached for 5 years at the college level, and then like a year ago, almost to the day, I moved in here with these guys to take over the skill training. So I head up our player development. So I kind of combine what these guys with Derek and our strength trainers do on the gym floor and help translate that to the mound or to the box, whatever it is. And our whole goal is, we always say, nothing we do in here matters if we're not getting results on the field. It has to translate to the field. Okay? Too many times, kids and parents spend all this money on pitching lessons and hitting lessons and all this stuff. For one, they're missing one of the most important aspects of development, which is the weight room, which is the physical development. And you can't control anything about when your son gets puberty. That is what it is. Okay? But whether he's got there or not, okay, you can start getting after it in here, start getting stronger, start learning his body, okay? Improving his posture, mobility, getting faster. All those things help, and all those things help play at a higher level. Okay? That's kind of what we do in here. So, like I said, I came from the college level mostly because this is my passion, is developing players. That's all of our passion. This is our full-time job. We don't come in here in the evenings after working a 9-to-5 desk job, whatever. This is what we do all day, every day, 7 days a week. We're invested in it. We're invested in our players. Okay? So I'm going to touch on some things that we do. I run our pitching development program. So that kind of ties into what Derek and our strength trainers do on the gym floor. So I'll let him take over after that. But in our pitching program, a lot of it is getting guys to move better, but a huge piece of that is just education. It's educating guys on what it should look like and what it should feel like to throw a baseball efficiently. Okay? First thing that I always say is it should not hurt to throw a baseball. Too many kids deal with arm pain when they're throwing, whether it's chronic or after a start, they can't pick up a ball for 2 days. It shouldn't happen. Okay? It should not happen. Arm injuries are happening at way too high of a rate all across baseball at every age. Our goal is to mitigate that as much as possible through what we teach and how we teach it. Okay, so really good example, obviously Garrett Cole here, one of the best in the world at throwing baseballs. Okay, so this is one of our gold standards for kind of what we should look at and how it should be done. Okay, but you can look at guys like him, other big leaguers, Jacob deGrom, elite throwers, but you can go down the ranks, college, high school, elite pitchers do a lot of things very similar. Okay, so 4 things that we see almost every elite pitcher do right here. Okay, so when that front foot lands, we're going to first look at the back foot. Okay, what is the back foot doing? Where is it? You can see here, his back foot's still on the ground, connected to the rubber. Okay, he still has weight in the backside. He hasn't jumped, pushed off the rubber. Okay, so he has both feet in the ground when that front foot lands. Okay, the next big thing we're looking at is hips. The angle of his pelvis is closed. It's facing third base. That belt buckle hasn't opened up to home plate yet. Too many times kids are taught they have to get the hips open to home plate, fire the hips, all those things. Okay, and what ends up happening is it puts them in really bad positions that they can't move well through, and then they're just leaking energy, leaking velocity. Okay, we have to keep the hips closed. The trunk or the shoulders is the same thing. We have to keep this chest closed. You can still see the logo on his chest, straight to third base. And then the 4th thing, really important here, is the arm. Okay, where is the arm when the front foot lands? You can see here, the forearm is up, it's vertical. He's got about a 90-degree bend in the elbow from the forearm to the bicep. This means his arm is on time. It is not late. Okay? So these are 4 things that we're going to run through with every guy. If you're not checking off these 4 things, that's what we're going to start to attack first. Okay? And the arm is the biggest one. Okay? And then we'll look at how, the next thing we're going to look at that we'll talk about with every guy is how the arm moves, how it's supposed to move. Too many people think the arm works like this. Okay, we're supposed to work like this when we pitch. Okay? This catapult or flipping of the arm, okay, is not how the arm is designed to move. Okay? The body is designed to move in a rotational fashion. Okay? Everything we do as humans is in a rotational fashion, walking, running, everything, especially in baseball. It is a rotational sport. Okay? So the arm has to work in that same fashion. If it's not efficient. Again, we're putting it in a bad position. Okay? So the arm is going to work in this rotational fashion, out and around. We call it just an arm spiral, okay? Like a lasso, instead of from here to here. Okay? And again, to watch any elite thrower, any guy that throws hard, doesn't get hurt, their arm will move like this. Okay, so this is a really good example. This is a big leaguer for the Rangers. Okay, having a really good year. You can see how that arm is going to work out behind his head and around, and then finally gets out to the side, even with the shoulders. Okay, that's another big thing we'll look at. We can look at a bunch of guys with different arm slots, a little higher up, but again, you can see this arm spiral. Some of our minor league guys, sidearm guy, same thing. The arm's going to work out and around in a spiral fashion. Another guy over the top here. But it doesn't matter what the arm slot actually is. Okay? But the arm has to work in the same plane of rotation as the shoulder. It's super important to arm health and efficiency. Okay? When these things happen and they're done well, everything gets better. The arm feels better, throw harder, command is better, off-speed pitches are better. Okay, so too many times people say you can't train at all. You can't train velocity and command at the same time. Okay, it's not true. It's not true, and it's what we do. Okay, we do both. Okay, and it's just efficiency of movements. Okay. So I can keep going through examples, but it's all the same. Real quick, we'll look at a couple examples. These are some of our high school guys of when some of these principles are broken and what happens. Okay, one of our high school guys, a Stix guy, This past summer, he came to us, he was like mid-80s, 84 to 86, okay? You can see his arm here, okay? Not the same as Garrett Cole's. This is what we call a late arm. His arm is still down here, okay? Closer to parallel to the ground instead of that vertical forearm, okay? This is an energy leak, okay? One of two things is gonna happen. Either over time, he's gonna get hurt, or more than likely, he's just not gonna be able to throw as hard as he should be. Because the body is a self-governor, just like driving a golf cart. You can only drive so fast. The body is the same way. If your body, and especially your arm, is not in a good position to throw, it won't give you everything that you want out of it. Okay? You guys probably, I'm sure there's parents in this room that have sons that have either been told or you know people where it's like, man, that kid should throw way harder than he does. Why doesn't he throw harder? Okay? And it's more than likely because he's not in good positions when he is getting out of the mound. So his body is not allowing him to move as fast and as efficiently as he should be. Okay? So, like I said, going into his junior season, he was uncommitted, 84 to 86. Okay? And then after a ton of work in here, in the gym, in the pitching program, combined, okay, this is in the spring, and this pitch was 91. Easy, efficient, okay? Looks like he's just throwing a bullpen, okay? And this kid is, in the fall, he just committed to Duke, okay? Big time program, throwing this spring, all spring, 88 to 90, top of 91, okay? Another guy right here, this is one of our younger guys, 8th grader, came in after 14 months of being in and out of physical therapy with arm pain as an 8th grader. Okay, again, shouldn't happen. Went to all these different places, rehab, physical therapy, all these things, but nobody looked at how he's actually throwing a baseball. Okay? Anytime he tried to throw a ball at any sort of medium to high effort, his arm hurt. Okay? So it's just this endless cycle. He came into us, okay, this is his initial eval. All it took was a few throws to watch him throw. And when we see this right here, where his arm has this weird bend, his shoulders go on this line, and then his forearm is straight up. It is not a straight line from his hands down through his shoulders. Okay? This is a terrible position. This is why his arm hurts. Okay? So after 14 months of physical therapy and rehab, okay, not being able to throw at anything over like 30 or 40% effort, okay, we took a long time, we cleaned this up, we got him moving better, and this was, I think this was in just like a week ago with me in the pitching program. And he's, like I said, 8th grader, and now he's growing with intent. He's been up to 75 with me, just about finishing up as an 8th grader, and has had 0 arm pain at all for the last 8 months since he's been with us. Okay? And that, if nothing else, even if we don't get any velocity or anything else, like just to be able, for this kid to be able to throw a ball with 0 pain for that long, it's just such a huge win. Physically, obviously, but mentally as well. I'll scroll through some of these guys. Okay, this is one of our bigger success stories from this past year. Kid who's a freshman, right, finishing up his freshman year in high school right now. Came into us last summer. He was growing, had no control over his body, long, gangly, loose. Just kind of had started pitching, didn't really know what he was doing. His first couple bullpen sessions with us, he couldn't crack 70 miles an hour. He was like 67, 68 miles an hour, like, and had no clue where the ball was going. Okay, so this is what it looked like. So it wasn't terrible, but not a whole lot of control. Didn't know what he was doing. This kid, since last summer, so in the span of about 10 months, okay, has attended over 80 workouts in here on the gym floor, and over 50 hours of pitching with me on the pitching floor over here. Okay. This is from as recently as a couple weeks ago. This is what it looks like now, throwing 83, 84 miles an hour, finishing up his freshman. 15 miles an hour in less than a year. Okay. I wish I could sit here and say we could do that for every kid, but it's not possible. That's not going to happen with everybody. Okay. But these results are the combination of what we can do on the gym floor, okay, getting guys more in tune with their bodies, getting them stronger, moving better, and then combining that with what we know to be true and how pitchers are supposed to move on that. Okay. So again, credit to this kid who busted his butt for the last year. He got in here in the gym, got in here on the mound, did all the drill work, everything everything outside of the gym right, and you see incredible results. Okay. Just a quick look at our pitching program. It's 4 or 5 on 1. Okay, so it is small groups. Okay. The reason we do this, we want to kind of break the mold of traditional pitching lessons. Okay, where it's typically 1-on-1, 30 minutes to an hour. You're going to warm up. You're going to throw a bullpen. Half the time, the coach is catching that bullpen. Okay, it's pretty hard to see what's actually going on the mound as a coach when you're trying to catch a ball coming at you. Okay, so that's part of the reason we did this. The other part is these guys get so much from each other. They push each other when they're in these small groups. We put guys typically in the same kind of level and age group. A lot of times they're from the same schools, okay, but they're all pushing each other. We're learning together. The environment is contagious. Okay, we get a lot out of it. Okay, we do a ton of different things. This is a look at like some of our small guys. 3 different guys doing 3 different drills. Okay, we'll do a lot of dry work. One of our minor league guys working on some lower half stuff. Okay, some more dry work with one of our water bags, working on rotation, which we do a ton of. We rotate. Okay, some more rotation stuff with one of our water balls that we use. Okay, we use a ton of different things. We do a lot of drills and exercises and different things that a lot of people have never done or never seen before. Okay, and it's all just about how can we, if there's a movement we need to change or something we need to clean up, how can we do that? Okay, and it's individualized to each guy in the program. Okay, we do a bunch of funky stuff. No shoes throwing, back foot elevated, working around blocks, whatever it is, whether we're working on the arm or the lower half, rotation, whatever it is. Okay, but we're going to attack in the initial eval. We'll look at video, see what do we need to clean up first. Okay, what's the lowest hanging fruit that we can go get that's going to make this athlete, give him a better chance to play at the next level. Like I said, whether that's going from JV to varsity to college to pro, okay, whatever that is, even minor league to the big leagues, trying to make those jumps, and that's what we do. And the best part about it is what I can do on the pitching floor is I wouldn't be able to do what I can do if I didn't have these guys on the training floor and their knowledge and expertise and what they can do with athletes to help speed up the development process. And that's one of the biggest missing pieces is too many people just invest all the money in the lessons or the skill work, but they completely neglect the weight room and the movement work, which is so important, especially like these guys say, you have to be physically developed and you got to have these tools developed if you want to play at the next level. Okay, you guys all see the kids that are bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else. Like I said before, you can't control the maturation process, but you can control how kids move and how strong they can get. And the earlier we start that process, the better. So I'll turn it over to Derek to talk about kind of what we do on the training floor here.
Yeah. So, quick little background on me. My name is Derek Bliska. I'm a strength and conditioning coordinator here. I have a little bit of background in baseball. Played in high school and then into college for about 2.5 years. This guy was actually my coach at one point, and now we're back here together, which is an awesome thing. I'm surprised I didn't have any videos of me up there, being as lead as a mover as I am. That's a joke, he'll laugh at that, you guys may not know. Played a couple years of college baseball, decided to hang it up because Division III private schools are too expensive, and then went on to Texas State and got my degree in exercise and sports science. From there, graduated, and then I've been working under our head strength and conditioning guy for about 3 years now. Like Michael touched on earlier, we primarily work with baseball players, and that's probably 90% or so of what we work with, and that's probably our specialty. But through these 3 years, I've worked with hockey players, Olympic figure skaters, football, basketball, you name it, that sport, I've probably coached it, or coached movement, right? And that's the point I want to make too, is that we can develop these guys as baseball players, but first we need to look at, we kind of call our 4 pillars. So first we need to look at them as a human, right? How is their posture? How are their movement patterns? Can they hinge? Can they squat? Can they push, pull, carry? Our natural movements and things like that. Because if they can't do that, we can't expect them to go out and perform at a high level on the throwing side, right? So what we do is we come in and we assess them, and we get them moving right, and get them to put themselves in good positions so that they can go over here, work with Schweiss, and kind of attack some of those things that they attack. Like we were saying with puberty and everything, a lot of these guys, especially at the age of y'all's sons, are hitting these growth spurts where, you know, they were 5'8" last year, my height, and then up to like, you know, 6'1", 6'2" now, and they have these long limbs and they don't know what to do with them. So if we can get them in here and teach them movement patterns and what to do with their body and things like that, it's a really good thing. Also, being able to walk right across here, where these guys are doing their drill work, and be able to talk to Michael is a huge thing. For example, there's one guy who came in, and there's actually plenty of guys who tend to be really quad dominant because of a lot of things, but most of these lifting programs that their high school coaches are putting them through tend to be very quad dominant and can't really sit back into their hips, especially on the mountain, be able to use their glutes to push off the mountain and get a little bit of power. There's been numerous examples of that where Michael has come over here and told me, like, hey, we can't really get this guy in his glutes, and that's where we can kind of tailor their training to where we'll put them on more posterior chain or backside training to get them to be able to feel getting into their hip or being able to get into their glutes and kind of develop some more power down the mountain. So I like to think of us as not just strength and conditioning, right? That's a big, huge part of what we do. But it's not just come in, rah, let's lift some weights, and all right, we'll see you guys next week. A lot of what we do is we communicate with the player, right? Most of them are doing high school lifting programs, so if they come in here, it's not like we're going to be doubling down on the same movements, right? If I squatted today at school, I'm not going to bring them in here and say, all right, we're going to squat again because that's what we have on the program, right? We communicate with them. We see what they're doing at school. That's one of the first things in our eval process is seeing what they do at school. That way we can train the things that the high school coaches are missing. Part of why I do what I do is for injury prevention and just maximizing the potential of these kids. A lot of what we do is again, filling those buckets that are missed by high school coaches and things like that, so that we can prevent those injuries, you know, those overuse injuries, or if they're missing training, kind of frontal plane working right and left, because most high school programs are very up and down, like squat, deadlift, bench, just up and down, kind of miss like that lateral component. Right? If we're missing that, we don't train that very much, and that's, you know, an area where we could get injured. Last thing I want to touch on is we also do have our head guys has a nutrition certification. One of the biggest things that we get from players that are coming in, especially early on in high school, is they have these big frames and no muscle on them, no real size yet. So you see a lot of them like tall and skinny. A lot of what they want to do is put on some weight, and a big part of, you know, kind of gaining some power and gaining some velo is going to be putting on a little bit of weight. So we also have kind of some nutritional things and stuff like that, which is why I say we aren't just strength and conditioning. Right? We have a postural therapist that's on site most of the times, and we're well versed in the postural therapy. We have nutrition, we have our strength and conditioning, and then being able to partner and have Michael on that side working with throwing stuff. And kind of like he was saying, we're all in house, and we can kind of attack all those different things and check all those different boxes. So I'll leave it at that.